Hello, my name is Reinout, and in this video I will show you what our 3.5-inch multi-display touchscreen room panel can do. Let's dive right in. The multi-display is a 100% freely programmable Modbus touchscreen display. That means that you choose what is shown on each and every single pixel of the multi-display. The multi-display comes in one size only, 3.5-inch or slightly less than 9 centimeters. The default encasing can be mounted on a standard European Patrese box with the screw holes 60 mm apart. The multi-display standard comes with a straight housing, which we call FXRP-A, short for Fidelix Room Panel Variant A, where the connector sticks out 7 mm from the back, excluding the wires. In most cases, those will disappear inside the Patrese box. For installations where this is not desirable, the FXRP-B version can be ordered, which is slightly tilted and where the connector and the wires are completely inside the encasing. The 7-degree angle also makes it easier to use the display when it is placed below eyesight on the wall. For OEM purposes, the multi-display can also be delivered without encasing. This we call FXRP-C. Some of our partners have developed their own embedded housing. The components are organized on the PCB in such a way that this is made very easily. The multi-display can be powered with 12 to 45 volts DC or 16 to 32 volts AC. And it has a small capacitor to hold the time and date for short power interruptions. The capacitor loses capacity over the years, but a new one can easily provide enough power to keep the clock accurate for more than 24 hours. The power consumption of the display is roughly 1 watt at 100% and a half a watt at 40% display brightness. The multi-display also has an NTC10 temperature sensor on board. Its value can be shown locally and read out via Modbus by the connected devices. The value is adjusted according to the display brightness to compensate for the generated heat, and can also be adjusted remotely should the multi-display be installed in a suboptimal location. The multi-display has a resistive touchscreen, so you can operate it with gloves on or with a tool. It has 320 by 240 pixels, 250 variables called points stored in 1500 Modbus holding registers, 5 internal time schedules, and an internal real-time clock. The multi-display communicates using Modbus RTU over RS485, so a 2-wire connection. As a slave, it will automatically detect the bus speed, and as a Modbus master, the speed can be configured. Note that while the multi-display can be a Modbus master, it still stays just an interface, meaning that all parameters and variable values need to come from the connected devices. The Modbus master possibility is mainly to be used with standalone controllers that have Modbus capabilities, but no user interface. Additionally, as Modbus master, the multi-display can send around values from one slave to another. Be careful though, as while this is possible, it requires a bit of detailed and precise configuration. But the more usual way to use the multi-display is as Modbus slave to our Multi24 controller module, directly to the FX BMS controller or to any other Modbus master controller. The multi-display can show 250 32-bit values. Those values can be shown as numbers, say something like 22.3 degrees Celsius, text, say 0 shows off and 1 shows on, or as symbols. You can program the display to let you change a value directly by pressing on it or by adding increase value and decrease value buttons. Using either method, the minimum and maximum values can be capped to only allow values inside certain limits. And even those limits can be dynamically changed from the Modbus master. For some, the slider type element might be a nice way of giving the end user a way to set certain values. Graphical symbols can be used to simply show the value of a corresponding Modbus register or used to set a register to a certain value. The multi-display is programmed using a very intuitive graphical tool, where elements can be moved around to exactly where you want them to be on the display. Depending on the use, you can choose to put lots of small texts and elements on many pages, or opt for a foolproof, large and simple interface. To ensure secure access to certain parameters on the connected device, pages can be hidden behind passwords. To load the graphics to the multi-display, two ways can be used, either with a microSD memory card or via Modbus. During development in your office, the microSD card method will be the fastest to load the graphics. The pages created in the graphics editor tool need to be run through our converter and then copied onto the memory card. Put the memory card in the display, power it up, and the graphics will now be loaded into the internal memory of the display. And the memory card can be taken out again. In the field, however, the multi-display may already be installed into the rooms before the graphics have been finalized. Whether directly connected to the FX BMS controller or on a sub-bus via our Multi24 room controller module, the graphics can be loaded via Modbus all the same. This is especially ideal for situations where you have a remote connection to the BMS controller of a site and changes need to be made to the multi-display's interface. Please check out our other videos and Academy lessons to learn how to use our other products and solutions. If you need more information or if you have other questions, you can find out everything about all Fidelix products and services at support.fidelix.com.